Hey, it's a game this week, man.
I think.
I,
Yeah, I thought
I
this
mean, I
was it.
mean, I think there's a game this week. I wouldn't know because we have not been focusing on that game at all. It's been Odell. It's been about the Browns. It's been everything else. But there's a pretty big game this week versus what I think the Bengals are technically in first place in the AFC North right now, and the
Yes,
Browns are
indeed.
technically in last place. Even though there's really only a 2-game difference, you can make that up almost with the 2 games that you play against the Bengals. But the Browns are in this situation where they play the Cincinnati Bengals, and it's a big game with a lot of other stuff surrounding it. Will the Browns be able to block out all the noise and beat the Bengals? Will they be able to keep form? Is Baker Mayfield going to turn into the dude he was before Odell came back to the team? We don't know, but we're here to discuss it this week. Is Gbqc, GB, that's G Bush, QC, well, that's me. And we're here to talk about this week's, well, not this week, today's game versus the Bengals, Sunday at 1 o'clock with Phil Sims. Not Phil Sims no more. My bad. Tony Romo and Jim Nantz on the call.
Yeah,
By the way, Browns have not won a single
ever,
game with the
ever.
CBS #1 commenting team. Like the Jim Nantz record is ridiculous. I don't know when the
Yo,
last time we won a game with him out there.
crazy.
Because
They're
it goes
looking
back
bad.
to '07. We didn't win that game against with Josh Cribbs, right? I think this
Oh
has to
no,
go all the way back, right?
no, he back to '07. They didn't win that game. Like
Yeah, because
Jim Nance
'07
keep
was the
calling
last
this
one we
team.
had for like 10 years.
We need to get Steve Tasker back in here.
Yeah, but what I hear is what's the guy's name? He do the Madden
Uh,
what's his name?
what's his
He
name?
used to do the
Charles
preseason
Davis.
games for Charles
Charles Davis.
Davis. Yeah,
Yeah,
what I
Charles
hear is
Davis.
Charles Davis. I
Yeah.
get excited. Like,
I'm like,
yeah, there
we
we
might
go.
just
We
beat the
beat the
Bengals.
Titans with Charles Davis, but nah. Tony Romo and Phil Sim and Jim Nantz, we have not won a single game. We played 8 of them. We haven't won them. Right? 2018, 2019, won a pair, and then like 3, and then 3 this year. Like, oh man, I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do with this #1 commenting team of
Crazy.
CBS, but we got them. But in all seriousness, this is a very interesting matchup, right? Because on paper, the Bengals do some of the stuff that does stress this defense out, and then the Browns do some of the stuff that can stress the Bengals out on the defensive side of the ball as well. And offensively, look, the Bengals defense is a good unit, it's a solid unit, but they legitimately sent Mike White's jersey to the Hall of Fame last week. So it's not an impenetrable unit. Just on the football perspective, not really factor in everything else that's going on with the team. How do you feel about this game?
Well, like we said before, man, we back at it again. And first of all, it just seems like we forget. Oh yeah, you got a game this week. Yeah, you might want to get prepared. You might want to do something with your life. And that's the thing about the NFL. It don't matter what you got going on. Anything you create on the outside of that, that's on you. That's on your mix CD. You know what I'm saying? I always tell people when you're driving on the road, what's in your headphones is what's on your headphones, really. You know what I'm saying? When you're taking a look at that. So for the Cleveland Browns, one of the situations that I always say is you got to get back on the bike. You got to start pedaling, and you're gonna figure out real quick. You're gonna figure out real fast what this team is about. You got this adversity. I laughed and joked about it before. If Kevin Stefanski, he better have the game of his life. his whole playbook is on display. If you waited for something, if you saw one of your high school friends that's a coach call something up, you say, I might want to run that one day. It's about time you run that today. Like you're supposed to. I plan on seeing that first 10 to 15 scripted plays. It's gonna be a good one, right? Baker Mayfield, look, you know what it is. Right now, hey, for all intents and purposes, it's on you, dog. It's your squad. Listen, it's on you. It's on you, big homie. It's your team. You got these 8 games or how many games left in the season to get your team in the playoffs. And I don't want people to miss this. The objective is still playoffs. Like, let's not act like this is the objective for a team that was talked about Super Bowl. Let's not forget that they still got all-stars at pretty much every other position and still a pretty good receiver squad. So at the end of the day, we can't just glaze over that and hope, oh, well, season's over. Ain't no season over. The Browns need to come out here, be ready to go. And there's enough ball players on the team that I think they'll be ready to go.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how they come out here because, like, I feel like this game is more of a question about that locker room. Like, how tight is that locker room? How good's the leadership? How focused are they? And like if I'm just reading the tea leaves, I don't know how to feel about how they feeling, right? This is not like necessarily a super focused sounding group, right? They're talking a lot about how they feel about the Odell situation. And it's okay to voice your opinion on that, but it seems like as much as the media attention is focusing things at that situation, they're not really deflecting it at all, right?
Oh
When it
no,
comes to their comments on it.
no,
So,
no.
it seems like one of those situations where we're going to find out, right? If they do all this and they don't play well on Sunday, that's going to reflect really poorly on the leadership of this
But
team.
but
And
you
that's,
you got to think about it. He's the homie. Like
yeah,
to a lot of them, he's the homie. Like this is the way it work in the game, bro. A lot of people don't realize this, and I would be amiss to say it. There's a lot of people that Odell Beckham Jr. is friends with in that locker room. He's a mentor to a lot of people in that locker room. And to be truthful, he might be the reason a lot of them people say, yo, I'm trying to come to Cleveland on a 1-year deal, or I'm trying to come over here and do this. Like, so it doesn't really, like, just because he's off the team does not mean guys don't have personal relationships, and they're not going to stop talking to him overnight.
and
However,
I think one of the things that gets lost real quick before you
yeah,
jump to that point is one when people talk about Odell, it's always not in the context of what his teammates are saying of him. Like
yeah,
they might not approve of how he went about this situation, but it's not like he's an unlike dude in that locker room. He's
no,
always been a like dude. And also, like, when this all came out, like it is dude's birthday. Like people ain't going, like, you know what I mean? It ain't like they go trash him or want him to be trash, and they're sensitive to this reputation that they have that does not necessarily line up with the person that they know. So
right.
they're gonna defend him. And I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying, I hope they're able to do that, but they're also very focused on this game
Yeah,
as
you got
much
to
as
walk
they
and chew
are.
gum, right, at the same
Yeah,
time.
as much as they are focused on making sure that, whenever a quote comes out, they're shutting it down. That's cool. But let's make sure that if we got that energy for that, we got to come out and have that kind of energy for this game. Because you come out sloppy here, you're going to get embarrassed. And, you can't be embarrassed 2 weeks in a row and expect things to be okay.
Let's talk about this. And I think this is left behind. The Cincinnati Bengals have ball players. I need y'all to understand and get hit really quickly, especially on the offensive end of this team. The offensive line is playing better. They're not all Americans. They're not all pros. They're not like the Cleveland Browns line. But listen, skill position, skill for skill. T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and we know that man Jamar Chase. He's a monster. Like, I'm gonna just be honest with you, man. Joe Burrow is one of the young dudes in this league. I mean, guys rally around him. He can throw the ball, and they almost got 800, 900 yards already. They got ball players. So if you're not ready to come up here and play like you got something to play for, you can get embarrassed. You can get embarrassed. So that should be all the motivation enough to come out and do it. And plus, like we said, come on, man. Like the expectations are still, y'all got a good enough team to get to these playoffs, and that should be the goal.
Definitely. The goal is to get to the playoffs, to make things right, like similar to what the Buccaneers did last year, and they have enough to do it. It's just a question of if they're going to be able to do it from a locker room standpoint and from a talent standpoint, an execution standpoint. The biggest thing I worry about when I look at this Bengals team is Jamar Chase, because we have seen that kind of wide receiver get this Browns defense problems. Now, it looked like Denzel's going to be back. Greg Newsom's going to play. John Johnson's going to be back. But those dudes have played, and we've put up some pretty terrible performances against some of these wide receivers. So, what do you think, if you're Joe Woods, you change, or what changes has Joe Woods made to make you feel like they can handle this task in front of them, or do you think they're not up to handling?
This is a tough one, man. See, a lot of people think I'm just, the blitz, smooth blitz. You got to blitz every play. I had a conversation with John Costco, Pro Football Focus. He said, actually, to be truthful, Joe Burrow is better when he's blitzed. When he's blitzed, his passing grades are higher. Like, so this is a game where I think you talking about it, you have to get creative in your back seven. And here's the problem. The Browns and creativity back there be leaving people open. Ronnie Harrison, we've had busts. We've had people looking around at each other, looking at you, who had this deep third, who had this. That's a problem for me. because Joe Woods, I think he can get exotic. I think he can run a bunch of stuff and get confused court. But at the end of the day, if you confusing yourself more than the other team, that's a problem. The second thing is they're going to have to get home with 4. Now, getting home with 4 does not necessarily mean you only rush floor or you don't, move your guys around or you can't do a lot of different other things with stunting and blitzing and maybe running 3 different defensive ends. You got to get creative when you're running that too, because I think you got a problem. I don't trust, and this is a bad thing to say, man. I don't really trust Denzel Ward running around with Jamar Chase one-on-one. Not this year, not the 50, 60 graded Denzel Ward this year. No, I haven't seen it from him this year. And for me, I don't. The Browns can't get down early, and then now we got to go to the gunslinger role. We need to have that mix working the whole game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot.
He's like, yeah, that's a lot. There's a little extra layers on that.
Yeah, there's a lot here. Myles Garrett versus offensive line. We'll see. Look, the thing I've mentioned with the Bengals is that there are no way it's talented as the Cleveland Browns when you look at the roster for roster, player for player standpoint. But they are everything that the Browns haven't been. And that means, and what I mean by that is the execution. I've talked about it for like 7 weeks, boy. The execution for this team has been awful on the offensive side of the ball, especially in the red zone, especially in 3rd and 4th now. It's been terrible. It's been sloppy, penalties, just getting in your own way. Bengals don't get in their own way. They don't have the talent that you have on certain sides of the ball or roster-wise, but they're a better record than you right now, and they're playing better football than you right now just because they're executing better, and that's going to be the difference. If the Browns finally come out here and decide to execute, there's no reason they shouldn't win this game. But that's been the question about the Cleveland Browns for the last 2 months. Are they going to come out here? Are they going to execute? Are they finally going to play well? If this isn't the wake-up call for them to play well, if all this turmoil isn't enough motivation to get them right, if all these negative takes and all this stuff that people are saying about them being down and out, being an embarrassment, being the Browns is the Browns again, then this – I don't know where you ever gonna find that motivation and that spark to get things right within this season. So this is an important game. This is it. Yeah, back against the wall. Now we're never November. You either win or you get out.
If you lose this game, and I'm looking at it, I can't literally think about it. You got to go down to the next week, and I got to put my integrity on the line and say, if you lost this week, you lost to the Steelers. Like, how am I chalking up these wins to the Ravens? How am I saying you playing Green Bay in meaningful games? How am I saying the Raiders? Even the to me, the New England Patriots game has had trap game on it when they was at full speed. When they had everybody, I'm like, I don't like that game. I just don't like it. I remember 2019, they went up there. It was raining. And anyway, we just look bad. It's just bad. We just got boat race. So to me, this is hey, everybody in the state of Ohio is watching. Everybody in the media is looking. You don't need no extra. If you can't get focused for this, I don't know what you're playing football for then. I just don't know why you're playing. If you can't go down to Cincinnati and be ready to go against a team that's a rival in the division, you just came off a loss. You need to get this win, and we already know all the rest of the storylines. But are they talented enough to get it? Sure as hell are.
Yeah, and that's why I got this kind of like angry but excited energy, because I feel like we finally going to see it. We finally going to see this team show up this week. I really do. I think they're going to finally get it together. 6 going to look like 6 again, and we're going to get this thing rocking. But, if you don't, well, we got questions. We got real questions to ask, and I hope I don't have to ask them. We're going to find out.
Quincy going to go back to 2 days. He's going to start dropping 2 videos on y'all boys again. Every day he's like, you're going to need to do 12 videos a week to tell us what's going on after this one. You might have to give me some therapy. Because if you please don't do that. Please don't. Because here, listen, don't nobody want to start talking about no draft. Look, people gonna be mad about. I just said it. You didn't have to say it. I'll say it. Nobody wants to talk about that crap, and it ain't December yet. Y'all better get it together. We ain't got no time for that. You might want to. You want to start watching film? You start breaking down D2 guys, huh? Come on.
Yeah, and I don't think it's gonna be necessarily like the season's gonna be over if you lose this game because the AFC is still wide open. But it's just like the feeling that you're gonna have for
Yeah.
this season is gonna be a lot different, right? Because they
Yeah.
go in, handle business versus the Bengals, finally look good. You still think this team can have a hot run late and do everything that they expected to do. But if they come out here pitter patter around for the rest of the season, some weeks they look okay, some weeks they look bad and they finish about 8-8, 9-7. I don't care if they make the playoffs at that point. I know what that team's not going to be able to accomplish because that team ain't been able to accomplish it all year. So we're going to see. We got questions now, open questions about the offensive coordinator. I know that people don't like to throw AVP in there. I don't know why. He's been a part of the problem too. AVP, Kevin Stefanski, Baker Mayfield. We thought we had an answer for a while on those three. Right. And that Baker, and people forget how good Baker played at the end of last year. We was ready to give him that extension after the Chiefs game.
What are you talking about? After Kansas City, I need to, for people that be always saying, Gbqc should be hating on. I'm like, bro, go back and look at me. Listen, at halftime, I said, this cat Baker Mayfield playing at a MVP like type level. I'm like, bro, he dropping dimes. This looking crazy for the league. And I'm like,
so we need all that to come back because right now we haven't seen it since that game. You know, we haven't seen anything that made us believe in Kevin Stefanski and Baker Mayfield and this entire football team since the wild card game last year. And when you go that long without providing answers in the NFL, you're gonna have your spot up for question.
Quincy,
and that's the very sad. Yeah, that's the very sad reality. I mean, is it not true?
You're right.
Is it not true?
Look, you dead right on. I'm like,
the last time we was really proud of this team was the wild card last year. You can maybe say the game they lost against the Chiefs, but like they gave up that run to not Case Keenum, Case Keenum's counterpart in Kansas City, Chase Daniel. No. Chad Henne. Chad Henne.
They all the same. Chase Henne is his name.
Chad Henne. Yeah. So same person. ever since the wild card game last year, when is the last time you have watched this Browns team and been damn proud of what you have saw? For me, it's been since then. So when you go that long without answering questions, man, we're going to ask about the head coach and if he's the guy. We're going to ask about the quarterback and he's the guy. It don't matter who it is. It could be Josh Allen, it could be Lamar Jackson. If it went this long, it went this long. And now it's time to show it. Put up or shut up. This month, November, I don't want no excuses. I don't want to hear, oh, the offensive line isn't healthy. I don't want to hear, oh, this isn't working. That's not working. I don't care. Nobody cares anymore. No excuse November. Either you put up or shut up this month. Like either you win games or you go home. That's what this month is about.
This is the energy I'm talking about right here. You need to give the pregame speech, dog. You need to You need to get a pregame speech in the Natty.
Because if this team comes out here lackadaisical, half-assing, oh man, I'm mad, my boy got cut. Like, they're gonna be out here. They're losers. Then they're gonna look like losers. They're gonna play like losers, and then we're gonna have to move on from the whole situation. But if they come out here saying, "Nah, man, Odell, like, that's my homie. I'm mad that he's not on the team, but we still got a game to win," and they come out here and beat the Bengals and beat them down and do what they need to do. All right, we cooking with grease. But, it could go one of either two ways. Either we got them ballers that we thought we had on this team and they show up and they ball out, or we don't. But that's what's at question this week. That's bigger than the game. That's bigger than the matchups. That's what we questioning this week. Do we got ballers on this team or not? Do we got dudes who gonna step up to the occasion, the dudes who gonna shrink in the presence of chaos? Because this is Cleveland, baby. We gonna have chaos. We gonna have turmoil. We gonna have dysfunction, and we gonna have obstacles by the wazoo in this franchise. Like, that's just something that's been constant since Jim Brown's been here. Whether it's a meddling owner, whether it's something going wrong or bad luck, you're gonna have stuff to overcome in Cleveland. So if you can't overcome this, this ain't a team tough enough to be in Cleveland. Maybe if this team were out there in what's the city that in New England, maybe you might be able to live with it. But in Cleveland, man. Cleveland, you're going to have to deal with some blows. You're going to have to deal with some unexpected stuff, and that's what it comes with, man. So I'm just excited to find out, right? It's been 3 years. We've been debating this. We've been arguing this. We've been getting in Twitter fights. Well, we're going to find out in these next 8 weeks. The
That's a
answer will be revealed. This is either going to be the series finale or the spinoff to something better, but it's going to be told one way or the other at the end of this year. Shout out Stump Mitchell. But that's going to be it for part 1 of GBQC. We're going to talk about this and more on part 2. G, sign us out, man.
Hey, you know what it is, GBQC.
QC. Let's
Talk
get
to
it.
you in part 2.